Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to join you today, and thanks for being here. My name is Dr. Andrew Erlandsen. I'm the Dean of the School of Undergraduate and Graduate Studies. And today I'm going to be sharing with you more about our programs. And then later in our session, you're going to hear from our provost as well as some of our faculty. We're going to have some breakout sessions so that you can join in and talk more about some of the programs that you're specifically interested in, and they can help answer some of those questions. I'm curious, so it's very exciting to see that you're joining us from all across the country. I'm curious if you want to put in the chat what program you're interested in. I'm curious as we get started here to learn more about what programs you're wanting to check out today. But as we get started today, I want to share a little bit about myself just so you have a better understanding of who I am and who is this guy that's up here talking and is the dean and all these different things. So I actually, I'm from Minnesota originally. And I earned my undergraduate degree from the University of Maine. I got my bachelor's in food science and human nutrition, and that program was geared towards students becoming registered dietitians. And that wasn't something that resonated with me. Love understanding more about nutrition, its role in human health, but I just didn't see myself as a registered dietitian. And when I was living in Maine, I actually found a naturopathic physician to help me with some health issues I was going through at the time. And they were an alum of NUNM. At the time, we were just a college, so it was NCNM. And I came to Portland. I had never been to the West Coast and Oregon before. I came and visited, and I absolutely fell in love with Portland. I fell in love with the college and all the people that were at the college at the time. And I ended up going through the naturopathic medical program. I graduated in 2011. As I mentioned, we were a college at the time. In 2016, we became a university when we added our undergraduate programs, and I was in clinical practice for a few years. I was studying in an interdisciplinary practice in a suburb just west of Portland that had a chiropractor, acupuncturist, massage therapist, and myself. Very great experience. I love clinical care. I would love to get back into clinical care as a part of my career and at some point. But a few years in, I got a phone call from my mentor, someone that you're going to meet later today, Dr. Heather Zwicky. And she said, the school is interested in launching a Master of Science in Nutrition program. Do you want to help? And I just thought it was such a cool opportunity at the time that I was like, yes, absolutely. It was one of those, like, not only what you know, but who you know types of moments. And so I said, sure. I started teaching a class in research. And I started doing some research on our master's program, which we ended up launching in 2014. I was the program chair from 2014 to 2021 when I stepped into the dean position, and I'll talk a little bit more about the School of Undergraduate and Graduate Studies. But I currently serve administrative role as dean, but I'm also teaching, so I'm associate professor. When I stepped into into the administrative role, it said it's very important for me to be in the classroom. I'm here because of the students. I want to continue to teach. It's important for me to connect with the students, to learn more about you and your experiences, and not just be someone who's in an office working on spreadsheets all day and doesn't really understand what the students go through. So I'm still teaching quite a bit, mostly in our nutrition program, but I teach in our ND program, and our undergrad program as well. So you'll probably see me at some point in the classroom. If you join one of our programs. I'm also involved in research. Research is very important for natural medicine. And NUNM and our Health Got Research Institute are the leading research institute in natural medicine in the US, and that's based on funds that we receive from the National Institutes of Health. We have a lot of research that's going on right now. It's very exciting. It's important that we advance the science of natural medicine. And so I help as a research investigator. And then through our clinical research program, I also support students who are pursuing their own research thesis projects. And if that doesn't keep me busy enough, I'm also director of our Food as Medicine Institute, which is a part of the university that is involved in community education. So we are focused specifically on nutrition education, but we have a flagship program called Food as Medicine Every Day, where we teach both in our teaching kitchen on campus and online. We have weekly classes where we provide nutrition education and hands-on cooking instruction. And the great thing about that is, as a student at NUNM, you can be involved. We actually have this weekend our annual Food as Medicine Symposium. It's a very exciting event that we're hosting, and students can be involved in supporting that, as well as our weekly Food as Medicine everyday classes. It's a great way to be involved in community education, to just engage with community members. And it's a really fun opportunity, whether you're in person on campus or you're online, we have opportunities for you. So, and there's many, many more opportunities as a student for you to be involved in different activities, whether you're on campus or in an online program. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I'm up to. I absolutely love being at NUNM. I feel very fortunate in my role. Every day is different and it's fun. I love it because of the students. The students are all amazing. It's just great to get to connect with the students and learn more about their interests, their passions, what they want to do as a part of their career. And you're only at NUNM for a few years, but it can be such a pivotal point as a part of your life and as a part of your career that just being involved in that in some way, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's through academic advising or mentorship, that we get to connect and we get to be a part of that process and we get to support you through it and beyond. And that's the thing that I love is supporting the students while they're on campus or in our programs online, but also when you graduate. I work a lot with our alumni, seeing where they go, hearing those success stories, seeing how they've from when they entered the program to where they've gone as a part of their future careers. Just really exciting to see the different work that they're doing and where it's taken them. So I just want to mention a little bit about why NUNM. There's lots of different places that you can choose for your education. So why here? We're a small university, but we're amazing because of the people. Really, it's hard to kind of capture that, but the people at NUNM are just incredible from top to bottom. Everyone works really hard because they believe in what we do, the education that we deliver to our students. We are the oldest naturopathic medical school in North America. And you might say, well, I'm not interested in naturopathic medicine. Well, we have a lot of tradition and a lot of our roots are grounded throughout our programs when it comes to natural medicine. And so you can take other classes, elective classes and things in different programs like the Chinese medicine program or the naturopathic program. And you could learn from some of those folks. And so we're really proud of our history and traditions, and it's something that I think really makes us stand out. As I mentioned a minute ago, we are the leader in naturopathic medicine research and education. It's something as well as that we are very proud of. And we have several thousands alumni across almost every state in the US. We have more than 450 nutrition alumni across the US, some that are working in foreign countries. Very, very exciting. And it's great to hear more about where you're coming from or where you're living, because we might have alumni in your area that we can connect you with, that you can have informational interviews with, or just talk more about their career, their pathway, anything that you have questions on as you're exploring your educational and career options. Our mission statement here is also listed, and I share it not because it's something that we just hang on the wall, but it's something that we're very proud of. It's a part of our strategic plan, and that's to advance education, healthcare, and research in the art and science of natural medicine. So this is woven into our strategic plan. It's built into our curriculum, and it's something that we aim for as a part of the work that we do. So let me just share briefly before we get into our programs about the School of Undergraduate and Graduate Studies, which is what I oversee. We have 5 academic programs in our Food as Medicine Institute, which I've talked about already. At NUNM, we have 3 schools or colleges. We have the College of Chinese Medicine, we have the College of Naturopathic Medicine, and then the School of Undergraduate and Graduate Studies, which houses our 2 undergrad programs, Integrative Health Science, which is kind of our fancy way of saying pre-med, and then our nutrition program. And then our 3 graduate programs, our Masters in Clinical Research, Global Health, and Nutrition. And the nice thing about these is we have some accelerated programs which combine some of these. You can also do dual programs. So you might be thinking, geez, I'm really interested in nutrition and global health. You can actually enroll in both, and you can do 2 master's programs in 3 years, which is pretty exciting as well. So there's a lot of flexibility in ways that you can combine things. Sometimes students get started on one program and then they get into a term or two and they're like, geez, I'm really liking my classes. I'm really liking my faculty. I've been thinking about, maybe clinical research. What does that look like? And so we can talk with you. The admissions team can talk with you about adding on a program once you get going as well. So there's lots of different opportunities. And our mission in the School of Undergraduate and Graduate Studies is listed here. And again, very proud of our mission statement because this is something that we evaluate term by term as a part of our strategic plan to ensure that aspects of this are built into our curriculum to transform individuals and communities through integrative, socially responsible, evidence-informed approaches to health and well-being. So this is something that we are actively engaged with. I can tell you that we are now through a 2-year cycle of evaluating our mission statement. We're meeting all of our metrics. So we're doing a lot of stuff outside the classroom as well to be engaged in the education process. So let's dive a little bit deeper into some of the programs. I'm going to start with our undergrad programs and talk through some of these. So the first one is our Bachelor of Science in Integrative Health Sciences. This is referred to, both of our bachelor's degrees are referred to as degree completion programs. So essentially you come to us with a certain number of credits or associate degree. We have certain prerequisite courses that you need to have completed, which our admissions team can share with you if you haven't been in contact with them. This program is 2 years in length. It's available online or in person. We have one entry point, which is our fall term, which is in mid-September. We're on the quarter system. You can also do, which is new for us, is an accelerated program, which is our Bachelor of Science in Integrative Health Sciences to our Master's in Clinical Research. So instead of doing the undergrad in 2 years and a master's in clinical research in 2 years, you can actually do both of them in 3 years. So you save yourself a year of time and money, and you can graduate with both degrees. And it's a great stepping stone, especially if you are interested in pursuing a clinical research degree. Students or graduates are often going on from that and working in research labs. They're working somewhere in the research world, whether it's through private companies that are doing things like supplement research, or they're working in larger institutional research labs. It's a good opportunity. A lot of times, students are using it as a stepping stone to PhD programs as well. So if you're thinking that you want to go on and earn a PhD somewhere, this could be a really good opportunity because PhDs are typically grounded in research. It's a great opportunity for you to get a strong research background and move into a PhD program. Clinical research also pairs very well with our ND and Chinese medicine programs. The Integrative Health Sciences degree has kind of 3 pillars to it, if you will. One, of course, is the Integrative Health Sciences piece. So you're taking classes in things like exercise science, prevention and wellness, mind-body medicine, nutrition, botanical medicine. There's a variety of different courses that are incorporated into it that give you just different areas within integrative health to explore, which can be a good stepping stone again to either kind of entry level positions in health education or a solid foundation moving into one of our clinical degree programs here at NUNM. Then we have our natural sciences. So again, as it's kind of a pre-med program, important that we are covering the natural sciences to best prepare you for the potential to go into a clinical degree program. Anatomy and physiology, chemistry courses, immunology, biochemistry, and genetics. Just so you know, if you've completed these courses, you're thinking about one of our bachelor programs and you've completed any of these courses, we have options for either transferring credits in, so you can get credit for those courses that you've already completed, or we can do what's referred to as a course substitution, where we allow you to, we give you credit essentially for those classes, but we allow you to choose additional electives in place of. So there's a couple of options there as well. And again, our admissions team can work with you individually to look over your transcripts, help explain some of those processes to you, because it's going to be different for each one of you based on your educational experience and what program you're looking at. And then we have a variety of social sciences courses built in as well. These are actually really fun, engaging classes. Our faculty are very amazing and make these very exciting courses, very engaging in culture humility, in ethics, writing courses, self-reflection, intercultural communication, helping build critical thinking skills. Um, so lots of exciting courses. I love our curriculum. I helped draft it several years ago before we launched. It was so fun to sit down to be able to think up all of these really fun and exciting and engaging courses, and then to see it here almost 10 years later, and how it's played out. And students are just absolutely loving their classes, and I'm excited. I just talked to a couple of them today on campus, and it was really fun to hear more about all the fun things that they're learning and the faculty that they get to engage with. Our Bachelor of Science in Nutrition program is also a degree completion program. It's done in 2 years, online or in person. And we have an accelerated bachelor's to master's in nutrition program. This is actually pretty popular. And it's a 3 year, just like I mentioned with our integrative health sciences to clinical research. It's 3 years, so you combine instead of doing them individually in 2 years. For a total of 4, you do it in 3. So you save a year of time, you save money because you end up saving about 30 to 36 credits, I think it is. It's quite a bit of credits. Um, and what we've done is essentially input the graduate level courses for the undergrad courses. So rather than take an undergraduate community nutrition course, you're actually taking the graduate level course. Instead of taking our undergraduate course called Diet and Disease, you're actually taking the graduate level course, which is called Medical Nutrition Therapy. So we've taken some of those higher level learning courses and substituted those for the undergrad courses. That's why we call it an accelerated program. Now, the nice thing about this program, as well as the accelerated integrative health sciences to research program, is you don't have to decide right now that I want to enter this. You can just enter in the bachelor's program, and then while you're here, you can decide within the first year if you want to add the master's portion. And that's very common. We have students that are like, I'm not really sure. I want to just start in my bachelor's degree. I want to get a feel for the classes and my faculty and the rigor of the program. And then we just had it last week, actually, in the spring. We have an info session on, are you considering adding a program? And here's the process. And then we support you through that, and we will work with you and explain how you apply. And it's a very simple process. What do your curriculum look like? And I would say that it is very common for students who enter our undergrad programs to end up switching and moving into one of our accelerated programs. They end up loving their courses, their classmates, and they just want to explore more while they're here, and they move that direction. So you may know right off the bat that you want to do that, but if you're unsure, just know that that's an option for you. Again, there's flexibility, and you don't have to commit to that accelerated program right away if you're not sure that's the direction you want to go. So there's kind of, again, 3 main areas within our undergrad nutrition program. Of course, nutrition, looking at not only individual nutrition, but also community nutrition aspects, food system, and things like that are very important. Then again, we have our natural sciences and we have our social science courses that are incorporated as well. So a little bit more about our Bachelor of Science in Nutrition program. And I'm going to open it up at the end of our discussion here for Q&A so we can have some questions before we break out into our breakout rooms. Next, I want to talk about our Master of Science in Clinical Research program. This is a 2-year degree, standalone 2-year degree. If you're looking at adding it on or doing a dual enrolled program, say in combination with global health or nutrition, we would be looking at a 3-year program. There's just too many credits to do both in 2 years. So you'd be looking at a minimum of 3 years. This is also a very common program for students in our ND and Chinese medicine degrees to add as well. because they're interested in the clinical aspect of those degrees, but they also want to learn more about research and how can they conduct research as a part of their future clinical careers. This is online or in person. A variety of courses, including things like learning more about integrative medicine, different research methodology. There's journal club courses. You're taking statistics, bioethics, epidemiology. Every student is completing their own thesis project under the guidance and mentorship of one of our research staff and faculty. You, as a requirement, we force you to have to go to a research conference. Like, they are so much fun. If you've never been to a research conference, it's a great way to go and learn more about amazing research that's happening at institutions around the country and around the world. I attended several when I was a student studying research. When I was in the naturopathic program, I've been to several conferences as a part of my professional career, and it's just a great way to learn. It's a great way to network. It can open up job opportunities. It can lend itself to research collaborations with folks. So yes, you get to go to a research conference, which is pretty cool. And there are many research conference and things that you can choose from to attend. Will help guide you through that process. Studies that students are doing are focusing on a number of different modality areas, from things like herbal medicine to nutrition, mind-body therapies, behavioral medicine, environmental effects on health. There's a lot of different areas that you can focus on. You take you have mentorships to help guide you through that process. What are your areas of interest? What does your research project look like? We also have research projects that are ongoing through our research institute that you can join and be a part of to get additional experience as a research assistant, to be involved in things like the student recruitment, if you're on campus, to help with some of the study visits, those types of things, which is a really great experience. And you get that additional mentorship and learning from our research faculty and staff. Very busy. I was down on campus today at our where my office is here in the Research Institute, and there was two different research study visits happening. Lots of projects that are ongoing right now. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the talk today, our Research Institute is the leading research institute in natural medicine in the US based on funding from National Institute of Health. We have a tremendous wealth of knowledge and experience in our research staff. They provide mentorship for you and guide you through your research thesis project. Dr. Zwicky, who will be here later today, helped launch our research institute back in the early 2000s. And I know that she will be more than excited to talk to you about her experience in research and about some of those student projects that she's helped oversee as well. Our Master of Science in Global Health program can be done in 2 or 3 years. This is online or in person. And the framework for this program is really built on a master's in public health, but through the lens of serving in communities around the world. And so right now we actually have 2 students who are over in India working on different projects. We have a number of different connections through in various parts of the world. We have some faculty-led travel courses that we run, but ultimately, what students are learning as a part of this is understanding public health frameworks, how to engage in different areas of the world, because certainly they're all going to be unique and have different needs, but how to work within communities across the globe to support them and whatever their needs may be, to improve the health of those different various communities and cultures. And that can be done oftentimes through needs assessments. So working with a local organization or a non-governmental organization or NGO in a community to better understand what their needs are, and then help develop a program and work in collaboration with them to hopefully then implement that program, or at least give them a framework so that they can implement it. Your fieldwork project is typically during the summer term. If you're doing it as a standalone program, it's 8 weeks. So you're typically wherever you may be. Some students do stay in the US, so you don't have to travel internationally, but oftentimes students want to use that opportunity to travel abroad. Um, and hopefully get to implement that project. Now, 8 weeks may seem like a long time, but it actually goes pretty quick. So to do a complete needs assessment, program development, and program implementation in 8 weeks is pretty quick. But it's allow you to apply what you're learning in the global health program to better serve and support communities in need. Really, really tremendous type of work that our students have done um, in various parts of the globe. India, Japan, um, Colombia, Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya are some of the countries in most recent years that students have engaged in those different communities. Again, you'll complete a fieldwork project within different communities abroad, and you choose where you want to go. You choose what your project is. You work with faculty, and you have mentorship to help guide you through that. We recently established a partnership with a nonprofit organization called Child Family Health International, and that's because developing and maintaining relationships with partners across the globe is intensive. And as a small institution, we just don't have the staff to do that. So we have some partnerships and some faculty led travel courses that we offer. But having this established partnership with an organization that is very well respected in the global health community actually has about a dozen different sites already set up that we partner with. And as I mentioned a minute ago, two of our students are currently working in India through this organization. We have two other students that are going to be down in Ecuador this summer doing some service learning projects as well. And the nice thing is they have connections in different countries where we're connected. So it just opens up more opportunities for folks. And here's where our faculty-led travel courses are currently happening. This year specifically, we have travel courses to Thailand and India in December, and then in Croatia in early September. So we're planning for that right now and getting ready to send faculty and students to those countries to explore more about the culture and various aspects when they are abroad, medicine systems of medicine and such, which is very exciting. We're so happy to be offering these again after several years of limited international travel because of COVID. So this very exciting times for us. And then next, I want to talk about our Master of Science in Nutrition. So again, this is a 2 or 3 year program. This can be done online or in person. We do have all of our in-person program starts are in the fall, mid-September, but our online nutrition program specifically, our Master of Science in Nutrition, does have a winter start date in January. So if you're thinking about the program and you're like, gosh, fall is too soon, September is coming too soon, I have other things that are happening, but January is a good time. We also have that entry point as well. So just make sure you're aware of that. We recently revised our curriculum to provide clearer pathways for students that want to pursue particular careers. We split these into a clinical or culinary concentration. So ultimately, you're taking the same foundational courses, but we've actually included additional coursework in either clinical nutrition or culinary nutrition to support your particular pathway. I'll share some of the classes here with you in a minute. Um, the clinical pathway does meet the educational requirements for the Certified Nutrition Specialist credential. This is something that in some states is a requirement for licensure, so that's important to note. Now, even if you're in the clinical concentration, you still take culinary courses. So you still take things like culinary skills, and you still have, even in our online program, culinary courses and culinary activities built in. It's just that in the culinary concentration, you're taking more cooking classes and more culinary classes. So there's a little bit of a divide there, but there's quite a bit of overlap as well. Just there are some students who just don't have interest in clinical nutrition. They don't see themselves being providing nutrition counseling and those kinds of things, and they would much rather pursue being a therapeutic chef or opening their own restaurant or food cart or a food catering company or something along those lines, or food production. So they want to head that culinary direction instead. We are grounded in our food as medicine philosophy, so really understanding the importance of aspects of food and how it can play a role in supporting health, minimizing chronic risks for chronic disease. Our program and all of our programs are built so that they have hands-on skill building activities. It's very important that while you are not only learning a lot of new information and building your knowledge base, that you're actually applying it so that you're using that information to learn how to actually put it into action, which is important. Because in all of our programs, we want to ensure that you are confident and competent when you get to graduation, that you haven't just studied and studied and studied for tests, but you're actually using that information and putting it into action. You're getting feedback from your faculty so that you are better understanding the learning process, and knowing that when you get into your career, you've already done a lot of the work and you know what you're doing, which is really important to us as well. Here are some of the courses that are offered, just so you get an understanding of what you may be taking as a part of this program. These are actually all core courses, and whether you're in the clinical or culinary concentration. So you would be taking these courses. To look at some of the specific courses in either one of these concentrations, we can give you a link to our course catalog, which you can see some of the specific classes and things that are offered and which differentiates them. And if you're on campus, we have our teaching kitchen. I was just in there today. The students were in there cooking, and I always get drawn in there because it smells so good when they're cooking. So, of course, I had to go down and take a peek and see what they were making. And today they were cooking and coming up with recipes and things for learning more about cardiovascular disease. So it was exciting. This is a great opportunity for you to participate in culinary classes. Very fortunate to have this as one of our classrooms on campus. We have about 12 to maybe 14 students that are in our teaching kitchen for classes at a time, so it's relatively small. You can't quite see it off to the right there, but there's another workspace. So there's actually 3 workspaces. And then this table right here, kind of in the front, there's a long table that seats about 15 or 18 people or so. And so we prepare meals together, and then we sit down at the table and share a meal, talk about what we made, talk about some of the healing properties. We're generally mindful about people's food allergies and sensitivities. We're typically doing things that are like gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. If any of those things are included, we're also including alternative options and things. So this is great if you're thinking about our on-campus program, but if you're thinking online, you're like, well, how do I do this online? We actually have you do the cooking and the culinary assignments and things at home in your own kitchen, your own culinary workspace, and then you get to share that with us through a variety of different assignments and things. So you get to bring to life your own culinary creations from your own space, which is pretty exciting too. And it's really, really cool. And I love our kitchen. I love being in there with the students because as much as I appreciate sharing what I know, I worked in the culinary world for about 10 years or so. So I bring some of my passions for cooking and things into the classroom, but learn a lot from the students as well because they all have their own experiences. But just think about the connections that you have to food. And we're all different because we all come from different places. We have different upbringings. We have different cultural backgrounds. Just think, beginning of the call, and Nicole asked where everyone was from. Geographically, we all come from different locations. And just think about the different the cuisines of the regions around the United States or wherever you may be from around the globe. All that uniqueness that comes into the classroom here in the kitchen or even in our online class environment is really, really exciting because you get to bring your own kind of spin and your own connection to foods, which is really quite cool. So very lucky to have our teaching kitchen and the culinary components built into our program. The other thing that I want to make sure we mention, which is embedded into all of our programs, is our career preparedness for our students. So we offer professional development courses, some of which I teach, because while you're there in the program or you're in our program studying whatever the program you're in and the content that you're learning, we want to make sure that we're not forgetting in 2 or 3 years, you're going to be graduating and you're going to be thinking about what's next and your career, or maybe you're going to go into another degree program. But we want to make sure you're as successful as possible while you're in a program, but also when you graduate. So we have a number of different ways that we support you through professional development courses, faculty mentoring. All students are completing some sort of culminating project, depending on the program you're in. It may be a capstone or fieldwork or thesis. So you're going to get oftentimes one-on-one faculty mentorship there. We have academic advising available. We have our career development office as well, which provides one-on-one counseling and also does group workshops on things like building my resume and informational interviews and how do I prepare for an interview. We also have job boards and things posted. So they do a lot of different things. There's ways that we incorporate this. And we started at the beginning of the program because it's important that you commit to some time throughout your program to professional development and career development so that when you get to graduation, you're not kind of the deer in headlights look and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I'm graduating, but I haven't even really thought about what's next. So it's important to think about and talk about these things early, to think about what your options are, to know where you're headed, and it's not that you because you have to commit to something right away, but it's to get you thinking about it. And if you're not thinking about it, that's when we get toward closer to graduation and students start to really get stressed out and really start to worry about what's next. So this is a really important part of our programs. I'm very proud of the support that we provide for students through mentorship, through academic advising, through professional development. I want to make sure that you are aware that while you're learning all of the very important things of your degree program, that your success in your career is important to us, and we want to make sure that we're supporting you along the way. We're also um, very actively engaged with our alumni. Um, Speaking for myself, I am in contact with alumni weekly, whether it's writing letters of recommendation, whether it's meeting with them for coffee or tea in person, or a meeting for a Zoom call because they need support or have questions. Very, very exciting. I just had a call with someone recently that they ended up getting a job as an instructor at their community college in their community. They're a recent graduate. Or writing letters of recommendation for PhD programs or whatever it might be. Very exciting stuff. Very appreciative to be able to continue to support our alumni as a part of their career. I'm just going to leave this here because we have different admissions requirements that are unique for each program. If you haven't connected with our admissions team directly and had some of those one-on-one conversations, I encourage you to do so they can help guide you on the program that you're looking at or interested in, and also what those requirements are, because they are going to be different. It may be different depending on your educational background and looking at some of your prerequisites. And I know Nicole is posting some things here in the chat as well, so please take a look at that. Before I open it up for questions here at the end, I just wanted to share some pictures with you. Here's our main academic building here. This is located in Southwest Portland, just off the river there. It is actually an old elementary school. It's the oldest elementary school in Portland. It's very unique. It has a lot of character. And it's a great building. So it could be a place where you are spending some time. Here's inside the hallways, some of our classrooms. We also have our teaching clinic right next door across the street. And then some of our spaces here, the bottom left are students in our medicinary and the clinic, and then some of our garden spaces, students there on the top right in one of our gardens doing some Tai Chi or Qigong. And so anyways, just wanted to share some of that with you.